Hello, welcome to my channel Conscious Growing. I'm Matthias. In this video I want to ask the question, what is your relationship to your symptoms? And why do I ask this question? Because if you're struggling with anxiety and chronic symptoms, then your answer will be not a very good relationship. I hate them, I don't like them, I don't want them. And that is okay, of course, because how could you like them? How could you want them? So we don't need to. But there's a very subtle relationship of how we respond to the symptoms and what are the possibilities to deal with anxiety and chronic symptoms. So what I want to point out here today is, first of all, there's a background. You have a background with your symptoms, because when you listen right now, I assume that you are dealing with chronic symptoms and anxiety for a while already, and then you went through your ups and downs for sure. And of course, the longer the sensations last, the more frightened we are, and the longer we have them, of course there's some sort of relationship. And when you have got some more knowledge about this whole topic, then you know that you understand mentally that, yeah, okay, these symptoms are not dangerous, they will not kill you, but they are very unpleasant and very uncomfortable. And especially in some peaks or flare-ups, however you want to call it, it can be really annoying and takes lots of our energy. And so there is a gap between the knowledge, okay, this is not dangerous, and somehow a part of me understands it's not dangerous, nothing will happen. But as soon as they go up, we easily caught up in our reactive patterns again. And as I mentioned in many of the videos, this idea and feeling, oh God, I'm back to square one, and so on. And as you might already know, the way out of this is a practice, and the practice is giving less attention to your symptoms. Don't act and behave as they are serious, but as long as you treat them like serious and show them how important they will fire back as long as you change your habit about these very symptoms. And this is really the challenging part of this whole recovery journey, because of course, as mentioned, we built up this pattern in the past, and now we're trying to desensitize. And the desensitization happens when we reduce the attention. But at the same time, there is the symptom. And it's not about ignoring the symptom. It's there. You feel them in your body, in some parts. Maybe there's a main spot in your body where you feel it the most. And what we don't want to do here is to ignore them or trying to run away from them, to distract ourselves in order not to feel them. This is not the point. We have to feel them. So what you can do is, like when you feel sensations coming up, you allow them to be there. But again, you just observe the sensation. But what happens in most of the cases is at a certain point we lose this ability to be just the observer. We add thoughts, we add rumination, we add, oh my God, why I'm in this again? Um, and the longer it lasts and the more we fuel it, the more unpleasant it becomes. But what we are actually doing is we are feeding our sensations with our anxious thought and behavior patterns. And so this is a subtle and smart game we are playing here, because it really means like, okay, the sensation is there. I don't add anything. And one of the things that's helpful and recommended is that usually when a symptom flares up, or when it has more intensity, when there's more sensations in the body in form of anxious feelings, then usually we don't want these unpleasant states to be there. And here's some praxis needed, and the praxis is, as just mentioned, to let it be there. And the next thing is, usually we tense up. It's like, oh no, I don't want it. And all of you might recognize how easily we are tensed in this kind of upcoming flares. But if you're able to feel it and sense it, and to practice, okay, I let my body as loose and limp as possible, and I don't tense up my shoulders. The shoulders can drop, the arms can lengthen out of the torso. You can feel your feet on the floor. The neck is resting between head and torso. We are breathing. We recognize our breathing. So the breath comes through the nose and out of the mouth. And when you're able to breathe out even longer than inhaling, this is a message of safety to your brain, because it's very simple. Usually you tense up, and this will ramp up the sensations and the fear and the other unpleasant sensations. And again, this practice is not a way to eliminate the symptoms themselves. They are there, and this first appearance of the symptoms, we can't afford that they happen. They come up, and they come up unexpected, in unexpected moments, and they can even stay longer. But what we are doing is, when we learn, what we can learn is, when they come up, instead of reacting in the old familiar or no, not again way, we are able to breathe. We are able to allow our shoulders to drop. Arms are lengthening. So we can be easier in our body. And so what happens is the nervous system has a little gap between the first symptom, the rising up of the symptom, and the response. In the weeks, months, and even years before, it was, oh no, panic, freaking out. And now we have this tool of, I'm coming to the body, I'm breathing. And this doesn't mean that this has to have immediate result. It will not have immediate results. But this is a practice. So the practice is whenever you feel that there's something going on, instead of acting and reacting in the old familiar way, we respond calmer, non-reactive. And then in best case, we are also able to take action. To take action can mean everything. That means like, okay, you're not paralyzed by the symptoms themselves, so you don't ruminate, you don't add thought, you don't add interpretation. It's just a raw sensation you're feeling, and it's like as if you are this neutral observer who just feels them but has nothing to interpret about it. And this is a way to take off the importance of the symptoms themselves. This is a specific practice you're practicing with these inner states. And this also means you let them be there, but you don't add this second fear. This second fear is, in other words, is your reactions to the symptoms themselves. And this is a message of safety in the end. And when you are on this journey and have heard about these TMS concepts, you know that there are many, many ways to send messages of safety, and this one is just one of them. And it's very powerful, very direct and indirect at the same way. So what do I mean? I mean, yeah, we are responding directly, more or less, but we are reacting in a new way. And also this gives space between the impulse, in this case the anxiety, the symptoms, and we give space. Okay, before I go mad, I breathe. Before I go mad, I drop my shoulders. I don't need to push anything. So we are not forcing breath. We don't even try to relax. It's not about relaxing. If a person who is in an anxious state or when symptoms are higher, we are not able to relax. In other words, when you are in anxiety or in are dealing with chronic pains, chronic symptoms, the last thing you can do is relaxing. But what you can do is to use your brain and to just imagine that the shoulders drop. And it can be it can be a physical act as well, because maybe you recognize your shoulders are here, you are so tensed already, and sometimes you are really in this physical state already And when you give your awareness to your shoulders, then you can see, oh my God, I can drop them. They can drop here. And this conscious act is a relief already, you see. Then you see, oh, I can be in my body like this, and there can be more space in me, and this is taking off the stress immediately. But most of all, it's a new reaction. And this needs some practice, of course, because when you get your symptoms and when they last a while, then usually we get lazy in a way. Means, okay, what I'm showing here, this might work for a few minutes, and you might say, wow, this is something that works good for me. It's a good hint Matthias is giving here, but what if the symptoms are still there? Half an hour later, an hour later, maybe they last a few hours. So in this, the practice is much more challenging, of course. And what you can do is you can repeat every now and then. So what will not work is if you want an immediate result, and if you're again back to the loop of I want to get rid of my symptoms, if you do this practice to get rid of them, it won't work, because then there's effort and then there's tension, the tension to get rid of it. But this pattern is so strong in all of us. That's why it needs time, consistency, and repetition. That's so important. And so even here, it's important that you don't stress yourself inside this practice. So you just do it as if you have a project, and you just work through your workflow, and you don't care about the results. You just do it. You just repeat it. And when you get and feel some relief, yes, that's wonderful. This will come. And when it comes, you notice it, and you can say, oh, yeah, these are the fruits of my practice. But that's all it is, because 1 hour later, 5 hours later, the next day, the symptoms might come back. And here, you don't want to go back to the familiar suffering. No, you want to use it as a new opportunity to practice again, to deepen your practice. And the more we are practicing this, we are showing our subconscious that we don't care, we don't react. And it's a very active process. Yeah, it's not, I can share with you that from in my process, I had periods where I thought I have to stand this sensations. I have to be strong and I have to stand them. But that was a misinterpretation, because I was thinking I do the right thing, but what I actually did was I was tensing up more. I thought I have to be brave, I had to be strong, and I was tensing more, and the symptoms became even more intense. So this practice means I'm giving up some control. I'm starting to let go. And I repeat this again and again and again. And we don't know how long this will last. We go through cycles, repeating cycles. repeating cycles. But nobody knows how long it will last. But this is a sure way to fight less, to respond better. And with time, eventually, the nervous system will understand that this is no threat here. And so what I'm talking here is, this is a practice you can do when you're sitting still or when you're lying down, and you can have moments along your day where you practice when symptoms are getting more intense. Then it's the best time to practice, because there's no need to practice when you feel well, when you feel good. But instead of taking this old train of worry and fueling the symptoms with negative thoughts and what ifs and so on, instead of, we learn to respond better. And another response can just be, I'm reading the book and the sensations are there. And again, it doesn't work to just ignore them. We can't ignore them at times. And for some of us, the symptoms are constantly there, and there's no way to ignore them. And to ignore them would never work. But what we can do is let them be here, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And checking in every now and then if I'm able to let go a little bit more. And the most important thing is really, and this will happen to you, not to try to get rid of your symptoms by this practice. So it's a big, big exercise of life. Means I'm teaching my system, my brain, that I'm able to be with the uncomfortable. That can even, when you have good days, you can even invite the uncomfortable. So when the symptom comes, you can even say, okay, is this all you have to offer? Give me some more. And this is also something where you build up your resilience. And again, it's not fighting, we are not trying to fight our symptoms, but we want to build a good foundation, a smart, strong mindset. And in the end, we are teaching ourselves that we are able to deal with every unpleasant situation life brings, situations in life bring. And so it's the same when you have more pleasant moments with less symptoms and there's more joy again. It's the same, not to go crazy about it. It's just to enjoy them in a calm and good manner. And so both peaks are just two ends of the same stream. Means here is on the right hand side there is are these unpleasant sensations and unpleasant emotions, unpleasant thoughts. And then on the other hand there is pleasure and joy and yeah. But if we going to, I don't know how to describe, how to not to get crazy about it. So where is something like in the middle, and this is good enough. And why is it good enough? Because this is what the nervous system likes. Because in the end it wants to find a new balance, and the balance is in the middle between the highs and the lows, and this is what we want to learn again. And this is what we are able to teach ourselves. And this needs lots of patience and practice, but it's possible to do. Alright, so this is the latest video, and yeah, if you have any comments, please let me know. If you have any questions I'd like to answer, or subscribe to the channel. I'm sharing more of this content even in the future. I want to do more, and also decided to give some support. So if you're curious about that, you find the link in my description and you can contact me, and let's see what we can do together. So have a good day and see you next time.